Good morning. Reverend Kaya has a well-deserved Sunday off, and so my name is Darbi, and I use she, her pronouns. And we're going to start out with a pretty well-known, fun, quick UU hymn. We're going to sing it through 3 times, just to get us a little bit warmed up this morning. It's number 1053 in the teal hymnal. How could anyone?
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brazos Valley, UUCBV, or Brazos UU for short. My name is Brian. I use he, him pronouns. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We are also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
Our call to worship this morning is an elemental body blessing by Noel Lehman. In Neo-pagan traditions, we recognize 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. We call on these elements to help us in a variety of ways, and I invite you now to invoke the elemental blessings within your own body. Settle comfortably into your body in whatever way that means for you. Earth. For the element of earth, I ask you to consider your bones. Protein, collagen, and minerals make them up, mostly the mineral calcium. Calcium formed in supernovas racing across the universe billions of years ago, making up leaves, shells, and the limestone and gypsum of the painted desert, and the white cliffs of Dover. Your bones are kin to the crust of the earth and every seashell in the ocean. May your bones remind you of your strength. Air. Take a deep breath with me. Hold it in a moment and feel the pressure of air in your lungs. Every red blood cell in your body carries oxygen, the basis of all energy transfer reactions on Earth. You are holding in your lungs a piece of the Earth's atmosphere, nitrogen and oxygen and others. Nitrogen from the outer reaches of our solar system formed as the Earth herself grew from nothingness. Breathe out, and may that breath remind you of your own adaptability and movement. Fire. Your body is powered by fire. Listen for a moment for your own heartbeat. Lay your fingers on your wrist and feel it. Every beat creates electrical impulses which power your heart, enough each day to drive an electric truck 20 miles. Your brain, which controls that touch and that awareness, fires electrical impulses at a rate of 500 signals per second per nerve cell, all powered by fire. Your mind is made of lightning and your heart is a wildfire. May that fire rekindle joy and passion in every place where the flames have been guttering. Water. Continue to feel your pulse, the liquid life under your skin. We are born of water, cradled in amniotic fluid, the same salinity as the ocean. We remain made of more than half water, and our blood moves in tides like the ocean herself, carrying nutrients and waste across each of our internal shores. Our plasma is nearly the same salt and ions as the sea, and our white blood cells and platelets are as ceasingly vigilant for potential harm to us as the most loving mother. May the tides in your own blood wash away that which is unneeded and return to you all that you require. Spirit. The elements of our bodies lay inextricably intertwined with our spirit. We are living temples, the stardust embodiment of the joy of the universe herself. We carry in ourselves oceans, mountains, lightning, and sky. Every photon of light which has ever touched our faces will exist in 100,000 sunrises forever. Every BTU of heat radiating from our bodies right now has been around since the creation of the universe itself. We are the manifestation of cosmos' laughter, and may we hold that knowledge close as we share ourselves with our patients and the world. May it be so.
I believe Jimmy is going to be helping us with our child's lighting today. Please say our child's lighting words with me. We light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, as a beacon of hope for all who seek justice, dignity, and compassion, and in celebration of the life, truth, and meaning we share together. Now please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that there's a spark of the divine in every person. Please take a moment to greet your neighbors around you, say hello to that spark, and I'll ring the little bell to let you know when that time's over.
really cool privilege to tell y'all a story that's for all ages. That means from 0 to whatever the upper region wanted it to be. And today I'm very excited for this story. It is called We Are Better Together. And the reason why I'm so excited for it is that it is about how we're all connected and we love our environment, but it also centers love in the story. And if you know our Unitarian Universalist values, they center love. So this is called We Are Better Together by Bill McKibben. The human game is a team sport. It took a band, a clan, a community to raise humans to adulthood. We hunted together in groups. With our complex language, we're able to keep track of one another. When we work together, we can do incredible things. We can harness the power of the sun, which many of you sitting over here know, because I see Brian back there in sunglasses. He's right over there. We can harness the power of the sun. We can reforest the land. We can help lost sea turtles find their way to the ocean. I know, collective. We can explore the farthest reaches of space, and looking back, we can see how we are changing our planet. It is a beautiful, fragile place worthy of protection. We can accept with grace that each of us has a moment and a place, that our humanness is important. We have the tools to allow us to stand up to the powerful and the reckless, and we know the value of love. It's love that works to feed the hungry. It's love that comes together in defense of sea turtles and sea ice and all else around us that is good. It's love that lets each of us see we're not the most important thing on earth and makes us okay with that. It's love that welcomes us imperfect into the world. We live on an unbearably beautiful planet. A planet that needs us humans to play together, to cooperate. We are capable of acting together to do remarkable things. So, we best get started soon. The end. Now, if this is your first time here and you are a younger person, this is the time in the service where you can go with me to religious education in the back with the other kiddos, or you can stay with your parents in here. Whatever is totally fine. And this is the part where y'all get to sing us out with this little light of mine, so will you please do so? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The lighting of candles is a practice in many faith traditions meant to focus energy, invigorate prayers, or call upon support in times of joy and sorrow. I'd like to call you into a time of prayer and meditation within this community and invite you to light a candle if you would like over here on this side of the sanctuary. If you would like, as an act of faith and worship during this time. You, your joys, and your sorrows are all held in this space and the heart of love. spirit of community and care, we are grateful to be together today and to have the time and to take the time to be there with and for one another. May we remember today and in all of the days ahead that this community is always here to hold us. Blessed be. So this morning I want to start by telling you a story about one of my very first UU mentors and heroes who spoke in a sermon once about an experiment that she took part in to investigate and consider the amount of waste that we generate in our everyday lives. For 1 week, instead of throwing her trash in a wastebasket, she kept it with her. When she was at home, or when she was at work, or out in public, she carried a bag with her. The first day or two, the bag that she carried just looked like she might have an extra little shopping bag hanging over her shoulder. A little later in the week, the bag became the size of a kitchen-sized trash bag, and she hauled it around with her everywhere she went. And by the end of the week, she was carrying a very large bag of trash and was surprised at the weight that she was carrying around with her. And it really made an impact on her as an active participant in the experiment, of course, but I didn't even need to do it myself for it to make a really big impact on me. For weeks and months, and now almost 20 years after hearing about her story, I often remember it whenever I toss something into a wastebasket. Her story is the reason why you will almost never see me with a water bottle made out of plastic. It's also why I carry a set of silverware in my bag and reusable straws. And that's also why, after joining this congregation and learning about the plans for this new building and the kitchen, equipped with 2 dishwashers and a laundry, I was really excited about the opportunity for waste reduction. There would be no more stacks of paper plates headed to landfills or seemingly endless, barely touched styrofoam cups of cold coffee to clean up after Sunday service. My personal vendetta against disposable things could turn into a church-wide movement of consideration for the dangers of a disposable lifestyle. I was also really excited about the number of people that I found in this congregation, both those that were already a part of the congregation and those that have come since, that share this vision and help me continue to find ways to reduce the waste that we create. One of my favorite things when we first moved into the building was ordering the dumpster outside and being able to say that we wanted the smallest one that they had available, and we have only actually ever filled it up once in the year that we have lived or been in this building. That was after a really big event. So we regularly don't use the dumpster space that we have. And if you want to continue to hear more about how we do these efforts of waste reduction here, you can catch me after the service or before another service, because I do have a little bit of a broader lens that I want to cover while I'm here. Because we do have our recycling buckets, right? We're all really proud of the recycling work that we do as well, except that that's not always the right answer. A startling number of items that are sent off into the recycling life cycle end up diverted for one reason or another, especially plastic. In fact, it's often considered a reality these days that plastic recycling is just a myth. Some estimates note that 90 to 95% of the plastics believed to have been recycled by the individual consumer end up elsewhere. Sometimes it is in the semi-regulated municipal landfills that are in our area, but often it ends up in oceans and reducing and reusing items is critical to the long-term health and survival of the planet and all the wild little wiggly things that live on it, including us. The plastic-centered, fast fashion, disposable economy that drives us into rampant consumerism and capitalism must be reconsidered. I heard someone say recently, and I apologize, I cannot remember the name, and I dug really deep into my podcast history. I couldn't ever find the interview. But she talked about the lens that she uses when she's shopping online or shopping in the store to consider that every single thing that she spends money on, every single thing that comes off of the shelf and goes into her basket, either virtual or in real life, is going to end up in a landfill someday. Every single thing that you buy will end up in a landfill one day. The better the clothes that you buy, the better the items that you buy, the longer it might take for it to get there, and the less of the item there might be when it gets there, but eventually it will all be there. The junk clothing that we order from Shein, we all know you can wear about twice, and then it's coming apart at the seams and it ends up in a trash can. The one-trick kitchen appliances that you buy on a whim and then wear out in a month to the landfill, and probably with so much plastic. What impact might that single consideration make the next time that you're casually walking through the aisles of Target? And I was recently inspired by a piece of art created by a strategic thinker and artist. Her name is Sarah Lazarevich, and she plays off of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and she created what she calls the hierarchy of needs to remind us of how we should consider consumerism in our lives. The lowest level, the thing that we should do first, is use what we have. And if you don't have it, move up to the next level and see if you have a friend that you can borrow from. Is it something that you're going to need a little bit longer than a single use or a short-term use? See if you can swap something that you have to procure the item from a friend or from someone in your community. And if you don't know anyone that might have what you're looking for, consider thrifting. This can be in-person stores like Goodwill, or you may have to spend a little bit of time looking on Facebook Marketplace, but it's an option for you. And also consider that if you or someone you know has the ability to make what you're looking for. If nothing else is available as an option, of course you're going to have to buy the product. And this long consideration of the hierarchy of needs, of course, is not something that's going to work 100% of the time. There are, after all, things like our own resources of time and effort that will get in the way. But when you find yourself privileged enough with the time and the ability to consider this hierarchy of needs, use it. It is easily searchable online, this image. If you'd like to put it someplace in your house as a reminder, and the creator does offer it as a free-use art item with attribution. And so, those of you that have heard me speak before probably know that there is a term coming in this conversation, and we're here. The metaphor that I'm bringing into today's message is a little bit of a metaphor. One of the most important aspects of what I want to start wrapping up this talk with is another important part of this hierarchy of needs. A critical element in two of the lower areas of this hierarchy of needs is your community and your friends. Who exactly are you borrowing from? Who do you have available in your community to swap with? In these times where approximately half of the people that you encounter during the day, especially here in this part of Texas, voted for politicians that are attempting to, or at least complicit in, harming people that we love, community is harder to find. And I think that those of us that are here are lucky that we have one another. How many of us recall that our church's mission We create just and loving community. Molly knew it, she was very sweet. We create just and loving community. And we do that here. More and more, I'm in discussions with people in this congregation talking about mutual aid. We already host swap events a couple of times a year. We are here together, poised and ready to help one another reduce and reuse, both for the planet and for our own pocketbooks. But here's the hard part, and for this part, I might ask you, if you are comfortable and if it feels safe for you, if you might be willing to close your eyes for just a moment. And with your eyes closed, I want you to think about that person in the congregation that this morning is grating on your last nerve. The person that you will swerve away from the good snacks at the snack table during coffee hour because they're hanging out over there. The person whose emails just always happen to go missed in your inbox. Sorry about that. And this is why we need you to close your eyes. I don't want anybody inadvertently glancing over at anyone else or sharing that knowing look with your buddy down the aisle. And so now that you've had a moment to compose yourself, you can open your eyes again if you'd like to. Because even in this community, and even in this safe space, we will encounter people that are not our favorite people. And especially in the outside world, we know that there are people that we interact with daily that we don't share our values with. And more likely here, we encounter people that are struggling with acting in a way that we feel like illustrates those values at minimum. And so this is the time when we have to lean in. This is the time that we have to remember that regardless of frustration and regardless of differences, this is our community. And it is the very best community, one of the very best communities that we are going to find here in the Brazos Valley. These are the people most likely and most willing to help you, to feed you, to support you when you need it. Even when we feel like they're doing it poorly. They are the ones stepping into this place and this building where we covenant to center love in all things. We are the place of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. These are our shared values. So I'm currently reading and incredibly obsessed with Adrienne Maree Brown. She wrote a new book entitled Loving Corrections. And it is a collection of examples and explanations on how we keep one another accountable and how we remain in community in various aspects of liberatory movement work. In the introduction to her book, she says, I became especially interested in thinking about my relationships to corrections and accountability, how I held myself and others accountable through my facilitation work. Even among those of us who long for justice and liberation, I noticed an emerging trend within our movements that looked and felt like policing each other, disposing of each other, and destroying each other. And so she wrote this lovely book that I have and willing to loan out, but also give authors your money. So, there's choices there. But she proceeded to write this lovely book with some wonderful information and examples of how to remain in community when community is hard. And so when we find that we are encountering confusion or frustration with how others in this space are holding our shared values, we have to find ways to remain in community. We have to find a way to call to another person straying from the path to come back to us. Because in the words of Reverend Julia Soto, all of us need all of us to make it. or at lunch. You can catch me almost any day. Community conversation is the way to keep our community going. And I'll remind you again about the lesson that I learned almost 15 years ago from Reverend Beth Ellen. Consider what you're throwing away. When you're tempted to simply dispose of an item, and especially when you're tempted to dispose of a relationship, consider keeping it with you for a while. The perspective gained from that practice will make a difference. Stop throwing things away with abandon, and let's not throw people away with abandon either, because all of us do need all of us to make it. May it be so.
I believe we have a couple of announcements today. All right, yes. Reverend Kaya, as we've already kind of mentioned, is going to be out until January 21st. Please call or email if you have any needs until then. And secondly, they're related to the first one. There will be no Love and Joy choir rehearsal until January 23rd. Now let an offering be taken to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of offering plate donations every week to help support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. The four groups we voted to support with this year's donations are Brazos Interfaith Immigration Network, WIN, Brazos Valley Blessings, Tiny Hope Village, and the Trans Joy Project. We vote on these organizations every May at our congregation meeting. Please be as generous as you can.
I'll just quickly introduce this song to say that it was written by George Harrison, who, if you didn't know, was the best Beatle. And the version that I fell in love with is actually a cover by Nina Simone, but her version is about 12 minutes long, so we weren't going to do that one. And so we are doing a very pared down version, similar to another cover by the Cowboy Junkies. Isn't it a pity? Isn't it a shame how we break each other's hearts and cause each other pain? How we take each other's love without thinking anymore, forgetting to give back. Isn't it a pity? Some things take so long, but how do I explain when not too many people can see we're all the same? And because of all their tears, their eyes can't hope to see all the beauty that surrounds them. Isn't it forgetting to give back. Isn't it a shame? Forgetting to give back. Isn't it a pity? Isn't it a pity? Isn't it a shame? How we break each other's hearts and call each other names. Isn't it a pity? Isn't it a shame? How we take each other's love without thinking anymore. It's a pity. It's a shame. Whoa. Forget to give back. It's a pity. Oh yeah. Isn't it a shame?
We give thanks for these gifts that we have given, for those we receive, and for each other. May your generosity return tenfold. Now please join me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again.
I want to leave you with a few last words from Adrienne Marie Brown. There is a section in the reading where she says repeat after me, but we're not going to do all of that because it's a little long for that. But this piece is entitled Future Shaping Spell. What we will see in 20 years is what we shape. Right now, let's shape the future. Repeat after me. We claim the power of our outrageous grief, our righteous anger, our responsibility for our precious lives, our interconnected individual and collective joy, and our impossible magic. We embrace our edges that they may teach us to grow in right relationship to the living world. Our human messiness, our weird and brilliant wonders, we know how to be in so many incredible ways. With these gifts, we can foment a revolutionary now that centers love, care, needs, creativity, and magic. We plant the seeds of radical honesty, vulnerability, authenticity, and the kindness that eases inevitable change. We will not settle. We will grow weirder and wilder, more interdependent,